Hello class, we're going to be working on lesson 3 today. So go to your info tech folder. Just go ahead and open up our book. Make sure you open with Adobe Acrobat Reader. And let's go to lesson 3. Working with tables and database records. So it's on page 35, and our skills are navigating among records, entering, edit, and deleting records, working with primary keys, find and replace data, sorting and filtering data, and setting field views options within a table, as well as understanding table relationships. Alright, so just going to make sure that we're going to, okay, go ahead and open up that, and we are going to also open up Fourth Coffee out of our Access Data Files, Lesson 3. Alright. So, there we have that. Okay, it says click the File tab, and we're going to go to the Save As option. And make sure you choose Access Database. We're going to click Save As, and I want to go to my Info Tech folder. If I can find it. Oh, there we go. Access, and we're going to save this one in lesson 3. And I'm going to type at the end final. So file name should be Fourth Coffee Final. Go ahead and hit save. If you see a yellow bar at the top that says enable content, please make sure you click on that and then click yes on the box that pops up. In the navigation pane, we're going to double click on Coffee Inventory Table to open it up. And it says notice that the first cell of the record is selected. Press the down arrow key down to move to the next row. Notice that the first cell is also selected. Now we're going to press the right arrow key to move to the product field name. So it should say cinnamon vanilla. And press the tab key to move to the next cell. Tab. And then tab key again. So we should be in the next row. Next I'm going to press Control plus the down arrow. Okay, it moves to the last field of the last record. Pause, leave the database open to use the next record. So navigating among records, here's like a little table of information that kind of tells you what will happen when you press certain buttons on your keyboard. Okay, so next we are going to use the Fourth Coffee Final database that is still open from the previous exercise. We're going to be using this little area down here. So first I'm going to click the first record button. Okay, the selection moves to the first record. Then I'm going to choose the next record button to move down. And we're going to select and then delete the number 2 in the current record box. Okay, and we're going to type 5. And then press enter. And that should take you to the 5th record. Next, we're going to click the search box to position the insertion point. and we're going to type sunrise. Notice that the selection moves to the first occurrence of the word sunrise. Press enter. The selection moves to the next occurrence of the word sunrise. Click the new blank record button, which is right here. The insertion moves to the first column and the last row of the table. Pause, leave the database open to use in the next exercise. Alright. So next we're going to be entering, editing, and deleting records. So the insertion point should be in the first field of the new blank record at the bottom of the data sheet. Notice that the asterisk in the record selector box, which indicates that this is a new record ready for data. We're going to type the number 21905, press tab. Notice that the asterisk changes to a pencil icon indicating that the record is being edited. I'm going to type hazelnut, press tab, type in 30, press tab, and then 09/25/2016. Okay, and it automatically adds it in as a date right here, and then we'll press enter. Alright, next we're going to highlight sunrise in the search box, and then type instead Kona to locate the Kona record. And we're going to click Kona in the record to position the blinking insertion point there. And delete Kona. And we're going to type Hawaiian. Then press the tab key on your keyboard. And next we're going to click the undo button on the quick access toolbar. Kona should reappear. Alright, and one more time now we're going to hit the tab key, and we're going to now change the date to August 21st, 2016. Now press tab, and we're going to click the record selector box to the left of product ID, which the record selector box is right here. Oh, actually select the record selector box to the left of the product ID for the first record. So the one that says 20051. On the Home tab in the Records group, we are going to click the Delete drop-down arrow, and I'm going to choose Delete Record. Okay. So once you do that, a dialog box appears asking if you're sure you want to delete the record. We're going to click Yes. Notice that the undo on the quick access toolbar is not available because you cannot undo a record deletion. So we cannot undo that. And it says, take note, you should be cautious when deleting record data. You cannot undo the deletion of a record. Next, we're going to be working with primary keys. Defining a primary key. You can define a primary key for a field in Design View by selecting the row that contains the field for which you want to assign a primary key. Then click the Primary Key button on the Design tab in the Tools group of the ribbon. When a primary key from one table is used in another table, it is called a foreign key. The foreign key is used to reference the data from the primary key to help avoid redundancy. Each table should have a primary key, and some tables might have two or more. When you divide information into separate tables, the primary key helps bring the information back together again. So because we have many different tables here, a primary key is a way that we will be linking these tables to each other. Alright, so in the navigation pane, we're going to double click the order summary table. Okay, to open the table. On the Home tab in the Views group, we are going to click the arrow and we're going to choose Design View. Okay, we're in the Backstage view of our table here for order summary. And we're going to click the record selector box besides the order ID row to select the row. And on the Design tab in the Tools group, we're going to click the primary key button. The primary key button is highlighted and a key icon appears on the order ID row to designate the field as the primary key. Alright. Now we're going to be defining and modifying a multi-field primary key. Two or more primary keys in a table are called a composite key. Composite keys are useful in unique situations when a combination of data from two fields needs to provide a unique identification for the table. So we're going to press and hold the Control key, and we're going to click the record selector besides paid. And then we're going to click the continue holding down the Control key, and we're going to click the order ID selector box. Both fields should be selected. See figure 3.5. If not, continue to hold down the Control key. So our table or our design view should look like this. We should see a key with two gray boxes that indicates that both of these records are selected. Alright. So on the Design tab in the Tools group, we're going to click Primary Key again. A key icon should be displayed besides both of the two selected fields. The combination of data from these two fields do not make a sensible composite key, and this designation will be removed. So with the rows still selected, we're going to click the Primary Key button again to remove the primary key designation from both fields. Step 5 says to click any field name to remove the selection. So I'm just going to click on the status one. And it says to click the row selector box besides order ID row and press and hold the Control key, Control button, and we're going to select the one next to customer ID. Okay, both fields should be selected. On the Design tab in the Tools group, we're going to click on Primary Key. Both rows should have a key displayed beside them. The resulting composite key is more valid. So it says click the Save button on the Quick Access toolbar. Pause, leave the database open, use the next exercise. Okay, so we're still using Fourth Coffee Final. Okay. Next, we're going to open the Customers table. So double click on Customers. On the Home tab, in the Find group, we're going to click the Find button. The Find and Replace dialog box opens with the Find tab displayed. We're going to click the Replace tab, and in Find What, we're going to type Elm, and I'm going to hit Tab, and in the Replace With box, we're going to type in Little Elm. Click the down arrow beside the Look In menu, and we're going to select Current Document if it is not already selected, and then we're going to click the down arrow besides Match, and we're going to select any part of the field if it is not already selected to broaden the search. We're going to click the Find Next button. It says Access searches the table, finds and selects the word elm. Go ahead and click the Replace button. And elm is replaced with little elm. It says to click the Find Next button. Access finds elm and the new text that was just inserted. We're going to click Find Next again. Access should display a message saying that no more occurrences of the word have been found. We're going to click OK. And then we're going to click Cancel. Alright, so next we're going to be attaching and detaching documents. Okay, we're going to open up the order summary table by clicking on the tab, and we're going to click the header row of the due date field. Okay, you know what, I'm going to change it back to data sheet view. Okay, click the header row of the due date field to select it, and we're going to click on the in the Add and Delete group on the Table Tools field. Okay, we're going to click on the in the Add and Delete group. We're going to click on More Fields, and we're going to click on Attachment. The attachment field is inserted into the table. It says to double click the first row of the attachment fields. The attachment field dialog box appears. Okay, and we're going to click on the Add button, and we're going to navigate to our data files. So I'm going to go back to Access, Data Files, Lesson 3, and we're going to click to add Invoice 100 document. Click Open. The document appears in the attachment dialog box. We're going to click OK. The number of attachments in the first record changes to 1. Double click the attachment number in the attachment field. The attachment dialog box appears. And we're going to click Open button. The attachment and invoice document opens in Microsoft Word. So as you can see, there it is. Looks like that. Let's go back to this here. Okay, it says click the Close button to close the invoice. So I'm gonna click OK, and I'm gonna just close out of it. It says click the Access button on the taskbar if necessary to move back to Access. In the Attachments dialog box, we're going to click Remove, and then go ahead and click Yes, and click OK. The attachment is removed from the dialog box. Close the Order Summary table. Pause. Leave the database open to use in the next exercise. Sorting data within a table. So it says, get ready, use the fourth copy final database that is still open from the previous exercise. You know, I'm going to close out of the customer's inventory. So we just want the customer's table open. It says, click the header row of the customer ID. Should be right here. To select it, on the Home tab in the Sort and Filter group, we're going to click on the Descending button. The data is sorted from largest to smallest as shown in Figure 3-8. The data is sorted and the arrow is inserted in the header row, indicating that the data is displayed in descending sort order. On the Home tab in the Sort and Filter group, we're going to click the Remove Sort button. The sort is removed from Customer ID. Next, we're going to select first name field, right click the field to display the shortcut menu, and we're going to click on sort A to Z. Next, we're going to select last name, and we're going to click the ascending button. The data in the last name field is sorted in ascending order. On the Home tab in the Sort and Filter group, we're going to click Remove Sort. The sort is removed from both first name and last name fields. Close the table. If a dialog box appears asking if you want to save changes, click No. Alright, no. Okay, next we're going to be applying a filter. A filter is a set of rules for determining which records will be displayed. Open the coffee inventory table, and we're going to select the product name field. On the Home tab, in the Sort and Filter group, we're going to click the Filter button. A menu appears, point to Text Filters, and we're going to choose Contains. Okay. In the Custom Filter dialog box that appears, we're going to type in the word decaf and click OK. Access filters the database to display only the records containing the word decaf. A filter icon is displayed next to the header row of the field. Click the Toggle Filter button in the Sort and Filter group to display the records without the filter. Okay. So in the second record in the product name field, we're going to double click the word decaf. Okay. To display shortcut menu, we're going to right click, and we're going to then select does not contain decaf. Notice that the records are filtered to show only those that do not contain the word decaf. We're going to click in the pounds field of the first record. On the Home tab, in the Sort and Filter group, we're going to click the Filter button, and we're going to click the check boxes to remove the marks beside blanks, 30, 35, 40, and 50. Only a check mark besides 25 should remain. We're going to click OK. Alright, and now we should have only 3 records listed. It says to click the Toggle Filter button, and in the second row of the Scheduled Order Date field, we're going to highlight 9/4/2016 by clicking and dragging the mouse. Like that. Notice that a hashtag appears after 9 and the 4 in the month and day of the selected date. This is a placeholder character that is part of the input mask field property for this field. This means that when data is entered in this field, it must follow a certain pattern. In this case, month, month, day, day, year, year, year is what the selection is. On the Home tab in the Sort and Filter group, we're going to click the Selection button. Okay. And we're going to select on or after 9/4/2016. The data is filtered to show only those records containing in the schedule order date field that matches the filter selection. In the 7th row of the pounds field, we're going to choose the one that says 30. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it should be the one that says Colombian. We're going to select the 30 right here, and on the Home tab in the Sort and Filter group, we're going to click the Selection button, and we're going to then select less than or equal to 30. Okay, the records are filtered accordingly. pause, leave the database open to use it in the next exercise. Alright, so right now we're on page 49, and our next step that we're following is about removing a filter. Still should be on fourth copy final, and it says to select the pounds field. So I'm going to select pounds, and then on the home tab in the sort and filter group, we're going to click the filter button. And I'm going to choose clear filter from pounds. On the home tab in the sort and filter group, I'm going to click on the advanced filter option button, and we're going to choose clear all filters. It tells me to save, and then we're going to close the table. Alright, we still have a fourth copy final database open, however. Freezing, unfreezing, hiding, and unhiding fields. It tells us to open the customers table, and we're going to select the last name field. And then on the home tab in the records group, we're going to click the more button. And we're going to select freeze fields from the menu that appears. Notice that the last name field moves to the first field position in the table. So when you scroll across, you can always see the last name. Okay. It says to click the restore down button. And now what we're going to do, okay, so I guess it wants us, okay. Next, we're going to press, on step 5, press the right arrow key to move the table fields to the left. And stop when you reach zip code. Notice that the last name field stays fixed as the other fields scroll. Click the More button again, and we're going to choose Unfreeze Fields, or Unfreeze All Fields. Notice how the last name field remains in the table's first field position. Press the right arrow key several times until the last name field scrolls off from view. Okay. Let's see. Notice how the last name field moved with the other fields when the right arrow key was pressed several times. Fields can be rearranged in Datasheet view by clicking on the field name header and dragging them to where we want to move them. So we could rearrange these. So I could go back and could move last name back to behind first name by just clicking and dragging to move it. Okay. It says click the maximize button on the screen. I'm not necessarily going to do that right now. Select the customer ID field, and we're going to click the more button arrow. This time we're going to choose hide fields. Notice that customer ID is now hidden from view. To select more than one field or freeze or hide, hold down the shift key while selecting adjacent fields. Click the more button, and then we're going to choose unhide fields. The dialog box opens. Notice that a check mark is missing next to customer ID, signifying that it is hidden. Deselect the check boxes next to all other fields representations except for last name and business phone, then click close. So we're going to leave last name checked, and we're going to uncheck all of these except for our last name and business phone. Notice that only fields now displayed in the datasheet view are last name and business phone. It says close the customers table without saving changes to the layout. So we're going to close. Do you want to save changes? We're going to click on no. Pause, leave the database open to use in the next exercise. Alright, now we're going to be working more with table relationships. Okay, we're still using Fourth Coffee Final on the Datasheet Tools tab in the Relationships group. Click on the Relationships button. Okay, the Relationships view appears on the Customers table represented. We're going to click on the Show Table button. And under that, so our dialog box should appear. Okay, we're going to select Order Summary and then click Add and then Close. Okay, so now we have our Customers table and our Order Summary table right here. Alright, we're going to click on Customer ID, the primary key field in Customers table, and we're going to drag it to the Customer ID field of the Order Summary table. So I'm just going to, what I did is I clicked and I'm dragging it, and I'm going to drop it on top of Customer ID. Okay. The Customer ID field represents a common field between two tables. The Customer ID field of the Order Summary table is now set as a foreign key. The Edit Relations dialog box appears. We're going to select the Enforce Referential Integrity checkbox. And we're going to select Cascade Update Related Fields, Cascade Delete Related Fields, and we're going to click Create. Alright, a relationship line right here appears, which represents the one-to-many table relationship of the customers and order summary table. You just created a one-to-many relationship between these tables using Customer ID, the common field. So because these are the same, we are linking them through that Customer ID. The one-to-many relationship type signifies that each customer record in the customers table can have many order records in the order summary table. Talks about referential integrity. This is an option that you can select in the Edit Relationships dialog box to prevent orphan records. An orphan record is a record in one table that references records in another table that no longer exists. So it's like a record that doesn't have a match somewhere else. Okay, we're still using a Fourth Coffee Final. Alright, it says right-click the center section of the relationship line. So I'm right-clicking with my mouse. And a shortcut menu appears. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to click Delete. A message appears asking if it's sure you want to delete the relationship. We're going to click Yes. It says select the Customer ID field in the first table and drag the mouse to the Customer ID field in the second table. Okay, Edit Relationships dialog box should appear. We're going to click the Create button. A line appears creating the relationship, as you can see. Double-click the center section of the relationship, so this little piece in between, I'm going to double-click. Alright, and the Edit Relationships dialog box opens again, listing the tables and the Customer ID. We're going to click on Enforce Referential Integrity, and then we're going to click OK. Now it says the line appears thicker with the number 1 beside the first table and the infinity sign symbol beside the second. Okay, so just so you know, the number 1 is also displayed. Okay, the infinity sign represents the many fields value that can be included in this side of the relationship. All right. It says pause, leave the database open to use in this next exercise. We're still using fourth copy final. In the tools group of the relationships tools design tab, we're going to click relationships report. Okay. It tells us to click the print button. And we're not actually going to print this. Okay. But what we are going to do is we're going to close out of this. You can go ahead and save it. Click OK. That way you'll have your relationships report down there. Close out of the relationship, and we can exit access, and we are done with lesson 3. So go on right now and start the knowledge assessment, and then you'll have the 2 projects, 3.1 and 3.2 to finish as well. All right.